everybody, and welcome to Left Hand, Right Brain. I hope this podcast finds you well, and I know if you like what you're hearing on this week's LHRB podcast, you'll probably like all the other podcasts under the LHRB banner, such as Let's Get Drunk and Talk About Your Wedding with hosts Jen and Mel, or Help Me, I'm Scared, another podcast about horror films with Katie Bowman. Both pods, pretty much exactly what they sound like, and you can find them on any podcatcher you might use, or by going to lefthandrightbrainpod.com. All right, dear listener or dear viewer, I think I'll probably refer to you guys as still dear listeners, even though we have the audio going. I know it took me a little while to get the last episode updated, but I hope you're following us on YouTube now. I think it's at Left Hand Right Brain. Or just look up Left Hand Right Brain Podcast. It'll be the first one that comes up. I'm working on getting the backlogs in there now. I hope you're enjoying the video now. So, let me know in the comments if there's any angles you don't like, or fix the lighting, tips on how to make things look better. Because I'm constantly evolving, constantly learning, and I would like you to be a part of that too, dear listener, I guess. Don't forget, we are also a part of Mile High Life, your source for the dopest podcasts in and around the Denver area. We got podcasts like Happy Friday, Vic Lombardi's show, Did That Age Well with Molly Smith. It's a good one. And I guess just a little plug for me, if you want to see me doing some stand-up comedy, I will be at Comedy Works for their New Faces contest this year. I think it's like the 30th anniversary or something like that of them doing it. It's an anniversary year for them. So it's a bigger deal, comedy contest or whatever, but it's a good opportunity to come to the club, maybe if you've never been to for the first time, or just to see some local people doing their best. It's a great time. I'm going to be on July 7th. That's a Wednesday. I'm pretty sure the show doors probably open at 7:30. Show's probably around 8. You can go to comedyworks.com to get tickets for that. Hit me up at Left Hand Right Brain on Instagram, and I can hook you up with either some promotional tickets or possibly some comp tickets. So let me know if you want to go and see me do some comedy. All right, it'll be a fun time. I'll get a great tape out of it. I'll put it on my YouTube channel. You could maybe check it out there. Anywho, 2 drink minimum at the club. Hope to see you there. Okay, that brings us to this week's podcast, which is with new podcast pal Sumukh Torgalkar. Yes. Yeah, it's a harder name to pronounce, but I think I got it, actually. I met him through doing Katie Bowman's podcast. He's got a new album out called You May Have This. You can find it wherever you get podcasts, or iTunes, Spotify, wherever you go to get music. You can probably get it there. You should follow him at Sumukh Comedy. That's on YouTube, Instagram. He does a lot of fun YouTube reels. He does a lot of cool things on there. He does DIY videos. He does comedy sketches. And then his YouTube channel is an extension of that. So definitely, if you like what you're hearing on this podcast, go support him there. Thank you so much, Sumukh, for being on. We go all over the place on this pod, like we do. We talk about his day job in compliance, which is interesting. We talk about ethics. We talk about law. It's all put in there. He has this interesting code of conduct thing he wrote for his master's. He just got his master's degree in law. So congratulations on that, Sumukh. But I think for his big last paper, he wrote this, made up this fake comedy club, and he implemented this code of conduct kind of thing for comedians, for the club and the comedians. It's pretty interesting. We talk about it in the podcast. You can find that at his website, SumukTorgalkar.com. He said you can find it there, so I'm pretty sure that's where it is. But I'll let him tell you guys about it. Thank you so much, Sumukh, for being on. I had a great conversation with you. I'm excited for you guys to hear it. So let's get to this week's LHRB podcast, part of Mile High Life, produced by Left Hand Right Brain Productions, a.k.a. me. But like I was saying, I just had Jeff Nelson on, and he'd gone through a breakup, and he was very reluctant to talk about it. But it was with a comic in the scene, so he was a little more hesitant.
Sure.
So how do you feel about talking about that? I know it's still, it could hurt. It's a raw thing. I don't want to pry too much, but I do think it's interesting.
Sure. I don't want to get into the details of it.
Sure, we don't have to.
I
What was
think
the last
I've
fight
been-
about? What did
yeah.
you say? What did she say?
I've been comfortable enough with talking about it on stage, but again, and this is where I think it's people might not understand it. We're talking about it on stage. There's still an approach I take where the jokes that I have had, which are just a couple about it, are about the absurdity that's played out from it. It's not me going at her. I never really talked about my relationship on stage anyway, even though
no?
it was,
Where are you getting your material?
over a decade. To truly, either from me or just, random people and, bizarre, absurd things. But
Yeah, I've been watching your reels because I heard you on Ethan Everhart's podcast talking about how you kind of test out your material through that.
yes.
Do you find that has a pretty good like rate to translating to stage well?
It depends. So some seem very when I do them, it seems very specific to reels, right? I just go, this is kind of a random thing that's funny. I don't know that it translates in the same way to the stage where you need to hit with punchlines. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I thought that was in my mind. Like you're like, if it does good, it performs well here, then it'll do well on stage.
Yes, it depends. I feel it out to going, could I actually, I do the analysis to go, could I say this on stage? It would have worked well. So then I try it out on stage, and some of them have. So that's where the reels have become like open mics for me.
Okay.
In other ways, the reels are just how reels operate, and it feels like an extension of me and just something I want to talk about, and that connects people to my comedy. It's all over the place because I'll take the reels, put them on YouTube, since YouTube has shorts now, and some do phenomenally on reels, and then don't do or whatever on YouTube shorts. And then some that have been great on YouTube shorts had like 4 likes on reels, But at least I'm putting myself out there with this 1 minute or less medium in 2 different places where I have a following. I never created a TikTok just because I just don't care and I'm exhausted by it all. And I already felt like, well, I'm well connected. I don't know. I just feel good and comfortable with YouTube and TikTok YouTube and Instagram.
Oh, it's coming out.
Yeah.
You're a Chinese plant.
That it just feels good enough to just build there from the audience that's there.
Okay.
Than to try something again with TikTok because, I've been doing comedy for 16 years now. When I started, it was MySpace. Facebook was still a very college thing that all of a sudden was now becoming more available to the general public. And so I had no concept at that time that it would build, like Facebook would build into something that still are where you set up comedy events, it's still that go-to for that. So then it just became exhausting of here's the next thing you got to sign up for, next thing, to just put your creativity out there. And I've just finally been gassed that I don't care.
Gassed out or?
I don't care about TikTok and like trying to build something from there.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm comfortable with where I'm at. I'll keep creating and certainly with YouTube, it's gone well. And there's monetization that, we can build on, and I'm comfortable with that, with where it's at right now.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts have really taken over the TikTok place for me. Not that I ever really got into it too much, but there were some nights where I'd sit there and just scroll endlessly on TikTok.
Yeah.
And Instagram a little bit. But those shorts are just the same thing. It's it's YouTube's version of it.
They knew they had to do it.
Yeah.
Since TikTok had gotten so popular, and the same thing for Reels, right? So I just thought, hey, it's not as if I don't have videos or thoughts that could work for this format. Let me do that. And then as time progressed, I thought, oh yeah, there's actually stuff from here that's gone well that could maybe work on stage. So it's really the flip end of what a lot of people are doing, which they're clearly doing jokes that they've been doing on stage, maybe not for that long, putting it then on Instagram as a reel and sharing it. I'm kind of going the backwards way with it.
Yeah, I'd talked to a couple younger comics who seem to be doing well on TikTok or whatever, and that's just all they were doing. It's like, oh, this guy was just making his breakfast and saying a joke.
Yeah.
that I heard him do at an open mic last night. So it's like, this is what it is, but they seem to be doing well. I thought it was like not. To me, I was like, oh, there needs to be content. This needs to be like a sketch. There needs to be like a bigger production all around it. But you find that it's just, you talking into the camera about a dumb thought or whatever is just, I mean, I don't want to say good enough, but that works. Like you get, I mean, that's all people want. It doesn't have to be a big production, a music video.
For me, yeah. I don't, because
Some people
I'm
do that, right?
amazed. Yeah, I don't. What people want and the standards of it have just
Plummeted.
yeah, in the sense of,
No.
well, yeah. I mean, I think in the past you would overthink it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And think, okay, I've got to have all these things kind of set up to make it look as professional as possible. Now, once you're just grabbing a phone and talking to it, what
that's what everybody's
my
doing.
budget
It's
is
more.
free, basically.
Yeah.
And
I've
so
seen you wear
and
some nice blazers.
oh, thank you. Yeah, so that my clothing budget, different story. But so when you realize, and you as a consumer are watching these, it is just stuff just being kind of blasted at you. And if you enjoy it, you're not, you don't have the time really to pick apart the visuals or all these things of it. It's like, do you actually enjoy this and are you entertained by
I
it?
don't know. I've been
And-
overthinking it. Maybe I've been watching all these YouTube videos and like, how do you edit a good YouTube video? And this is what the top YouTubers do. And they're like, you gotta have text, you gotta have cuts, you gotta fucking do this, you gotta do that.
And I'm sure there is a rhyme or reason to that I know there's all those either YouTube
YouTube's
videos
a
or
different
YouTube.
media, maybe.
YouTube themselves has the whole learning center or whatever. But I just created videos to create them. And the reason mine went well is just a few of them hit like a niche thing that people needed.
Yeah.
And so that just drew more attention. And then it just made me feel good. So I thought, well, I'm going to keep doing these as it arises.
Like to get the likes, or did you like felt creatively fulfilled the same as telling
creative,
a joke?
Yeah, creatively fulfilled. And, I was doing these funny how-to videos. So I was helping people out too. And they were appreciative. So that was, when I looked back to why I did comedy or started doing comedy to begin with, those are the reasons. If you can make people laugh and also feel like you've helped them out, that's wonderful. So that was fulfilling for me. And that's what I've been able to accomplish to some level with YouTube.
Yeah.
While also not feeling so bound by it too, because I have had friends become successful YouTubers or whatever, and then you're a content
Name
machine
one.
too. Do you know
I'm
who?
just joking.
No, I mean, do you know who Roman Atwood is?
No.
Okay, but he is huge. But he'd make these prank videos. So he was
on
from
YouTube,
Columbus too. And but yeah, in the sense of when people started becoming YouTubers, he was kind of at that forefront, whatever, 2011 or so. But
he met Rob Dyrdek.
yeah, I'm
Dope.
sure he's met a
This is
lot
about
of.
to be the greatest adventure I have ever done on YouTube. Here's why. When you buy a helicopter that's on the other side of the country, you have to fly it home.
You gotta go get it.
Miles.
Yeah, he's doing different things now. Obviously,
and,
I don't know if that's comedy anymore.
Whatever it's called now, YouTube Red, YouTube Premium. He had a show on
YouTube
there.
Premium.
And so he's just very, very much a YouTuber.
Gotcha.
And I'm very happy for him, knowing him. I'm sure he's happy. But I remember where we were back in 2010, 11, and just knowing me, as successful as he is, as how much more money than me he's making, I just
let's not
don't
think about that.
Yeah, but I just don't. I don't want this kind of connection with the public, I guess, or
Okay.
this need to have to produce,
yeah,
a lot,
consistently.
consistently to
feed the
for
beast.
the feed the beast as well as feed your livelihood, right?
Right.
So,
That's one of those things with comedy or like creative work. You're never really off.
yeah, and it's getting worse and worse to me in all forms of entertainment or art. I just read a thing about ESPN. I don't know that you're into sports at all.
I'm not.
Okay. I don't know. Darth Vader was looking at me. I was like, maybe he's not into sports.
But I got this
But-
John Elway thing.
Oh yeah, that is a cool poster.
I know, that's the only reason I keep it. I think it's funny.
It is very funny.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I support the home team, but I've been hearing about basketball through everybody else, but
Right.
I'm not like pursuing it.
That's fine and
Thank you.
totally
Thank you for that.
acceptable. And what I'm about to say will have no bearing on you
I saw
needing
your
to know.
ESPN reel, so
Yes. So that reel was about how it's all talk. It's all punditry, like anything else in the news now.
yeah,
And so as a result, you're getting they're giving a lot of money to your like Stephen A. Smith. Just Pat McAfee was somebody they just gave a huge deal to, and his podcasts will be on there and a TV show.
to ESPN.
Yeah.
Okay, he wasn't already on ESPN. I thought this
He
was
kind of was,
Okay.
but I think they're giving him way more time. And it is just about, yes, they have an audience, but it is about like these certain number of people just producing content constantly.
Yeah.
And just never stopping. And that seems to be the ideal of what is being looked for in arts, news, entertainment, sports, whatever. And I just don't think that's healthy.
Yeah.
For the person as well as for the audience, but clearly the audience enjoys getting a little thing that isn't even necessarily accurate and having uproar over it. So
Yeah, I mean, the audacity for you to talk about what the audience needs. Come on.
yeah.
I mean, it's very I want to say enlightened almost, because I mean, everything I've been getting recently from just like employers where he's like, you should be a workhorse. You should be working till you die. Like you should be just happy to be here and give your all the time, no matter what. Like, and it's just like, that's not a healthy way to be. You know,
Right.
it's like, when I'm here to work, okay, for the allotted time, but then I want to go home and live my life, and like that shouldn't be criminalized, like I shouldn't be made to feel like a lazy person because of it. I'm getting way into my own deeper issues right now. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry you're going.
But I know
through
you
that.
got
It's-
two different jobs, or well, you
Yes.
have a full-time job
Yes.
that's not comedy,
Yes.
and you're doing this. So the idea that you want to conserve your energy, it makes sense to me, or at least that's what I feel I'm getting.
Yes, and I've been more self-aware too of knowing, I have these two careers, both of which I enjoy, but it's important to have time to understand yourself and not just be working constantly. And I think in both of those careers, I could be working constantly if I wanted to, and I think both careers would want me to be working constantly. If that
Of
makes
course,
sense,
yeah,
you
they're
know,
like,
it's-
work until you die, and then we'll just get another person. That's
yeah,
what they want.
Yeah,
That's what the system wants, bro.
yeah, and certainly in comedy and entertainment, we're all expendable.
Yeah, we're all
So-
and
So
it's
just
a bummer.
it gets back, and I've been saying this on probably every podcast, but it gets back to figuring out what is it that you want out of this, and then just pursuing that, continuing
Fame and
to do
fortune,
that.
I guess. I don't know.
Well,
No,
that, I mean,
acknowledgement.
For me, it was always just that. It wasn't about me. It was just about, can I
Self-validation.
just be? Otherwise, what's the point if it doesn't feel like you're getting appreciation or
Yeah,
good
yeah.
feedback on it? That's anything in any work,
Sure.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Unless you just really don't care, which of course there are many people like that who seem to just
Yeah.
have jobs.
I mean, you gotta
and
have to.
I'm amazed that they're still employed, but they are.
Yeah, I mean, and they have to find some kind of satisfaction from outside of the work. That
I would hope.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, me too. I mean, I guess I don't know their lives, but just knowing me, and I think I'm just another person. So just human nature is like you want to find fulfillment in something, and they must be finding it somewhere else, whether it's a relationship or personal stuff, religion, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you want fame and fortune?
I would like to try it.
Okay. For what purpose?
Well,
Like,
I guess
what-
really it boils down to the acknowledgement. I want to
Okay,
be
so the fame
validated that I'm funny.
and the fortune comes along with it.
Yeah.
Then
'cause
what would
that's
you do with the
somebody
fortune?
who has real status or value has those things, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, I'd be worthy of being on the planet.
I remember
Yes,
sitting
yes.
at a party with comedians in LA, and someone brought up the question of, if you do hit it big in some way, what's the first thing you'll buy? And that was a really difficult question for me because I just am not a huge materialistic kind of person. So I didn't even know how to respond to that component of fame and fortune, which probably speaks a lot to it. What I thought in my mind was like an authentic WWE championship belt,
Oh, wow. Okay.
which again is,
Like you want it made out of gold?
yes, I want what the actual champion
It's
would
actually
have.
made of gold?
Yeah, and it's heavy, and I think it's
Okay. You can order those
$2,000.
now.
Yes,
I've seen.
I just, it's if I actually made it and I guess was the, of course people were saying a lot more elaborate things
Like a
than
car.
that. Yes, certain
car was my
cars,
first idea.
certain boat. I don't know.
I don't know about a certain car. I just want a nice car.
Okay.
Like something.
Yeah.
My cars are. Anyway. I'm fine with where I'm trying to be grateful, have gratitude, all that jazz,
Yeah.
But
You have to
a new Bronco would be cool.
ground yourself. Why do you really
I
want
like
a new
the new
Bronco?
I like the new Broncos.
But they're not good cars, actually. Visually I understand it, but the engines have issues.
I need to find out myself. That's a lesson I'm going to have to learn.
Okay, so you need to blow money. You want to be
It's a lesson
famous
I need to know.
and have enough fortune to blow money on a Ford Bronco that'll probably not be good.
Adam Carolla calls it "fuck me money."
Yeah.
You have to have enough money where you could actively do things to hurt yourself, but it's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, not in your best interest, not hurt yourself.
No.
Well, I don't know. I've heard back and
My-
forth. You know about cars now?
To some
You know
extent.
about
but
sports. You know about cars. You know how to fix
and
things.
As you can tell, I'm quite the
Why are you even
man's
doing
man.
things in
I'm
comedy? Why do
not-
you even need comedy?
I don't know.
Just another thing under your belt? Just another notch on your
Sure.
WWE belt, huh?
I suppose. But I'm clearly not Adam Carolla when you are I'm kind of like a man's man in how I approach things. But I do, I guess, like some stuff
I'd like
that
to see you both
other men
fix a
like.
lighting fixture.
Yes.
See who does it better.
Yeah. I don't know. I presume he would because he actually worked in construction, but I don't know. I've probably made a how-to video about it. That's humorous.
I did see. I saw it. I saw a reel. So anyway.
Yeah, that reel was the most popular reel.
I'm
Again,
constantly looking at how-to stuff on YouTube. I mean, that's my bread and butter on YouTube right there.
It is. Again, I do as well on certain things, and then there was other stuff where I realized, I could just shoot this video and make it funny, and maybe it could help other people. And then again, there are just a few videos that are particular stuff that no one else had out there to help people, and so they've been really appreciative. So it's nice.
Yeah. And I do I'll look for somebody that I could relate to sometimes if it's like a how to change your tire or how to do blah blah blah. I'm like, no, this guy, I don't know if I like the cut of his jib. Yeah, I'm gonna go to this person.
And then YouTube rewards you. Thank you for longer videos too. So sometimes people's how-tos are 12, 15 minutes long of just rambling because they know they can make more ad money.
Oh, interesting.
And so that's where I just don't care. And so I think people still get mad that I'm being funny in it. But at least it's more concise than some
funny
other
guy.
videos.
Yeah, just turn the bulb.
Right. Stop with the lame jokes for the first minute and just show me this. And it's like, you can just fast forward. I don't get it. So.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear, how people can play that game about I need to have just more minutes to get more ad money. That's a whole different ball game.
Yes.
But what was I getting at? Work, you have to split your time. So you have an album coming out at the end of this week, right?
Yes, on Friday.
Right, May 26th.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's your second album.
Yes. So the first one came out 2015.
What's it called? Where can people get it?
The Mispronunciation of Sumukh Torgalkar. So that's readily available wherever streaming services you may enjoy. Tracks from it are playing on Sirius XM, mostly on Channel 98, Laugh USA. And so that obviously has been out there for a while, and I'd been meaning to do a second album. Wanted to do it right at the beginning of 2020, was planning for it, and then the pandemic happened. So it just kept getting pushed back, but I was ready to go and doing it. I think when we met was maybe my first time, 2021, and getting back on stage. And so that's what I was working towards to ultimately last summer, 2022, record the album.
Yeah, we were both on a show in Loveland, I think.
Yeah.
Shout out Jacob Birdman, still going strong out there.
Yeah. He always will.
I know, yeah. I was like,
I'm
COVID didn't
impressed.
get him. Nothing's going to get him. That guy's
Yeah.
like a...
Did you do his Wellington show?
I don't think so.
Hopefully soon.
It's like
it's impressive. I mean, it's just the one brewery, I think, in town. And so the whole place was filled. It was packed. And I live close enough to there that some of my neighbors came. So it was a lot of fun.
I think it's just another skill, like YouTubing, just producing shows. He's really got that on lock. He knows how to put together a show, find a venue.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's
approach them with a package, and he figures it out.
Yeah. And I'm impressed that he enjoys it, because producing shows
seems
provided
like
the most. Yeah. A lot of organization, a lot of anxiety involved in it that I've enjoyed not producing a show for a while.
Right.
Because I did my part for years in my mind, whether it be in Columbus, whether it be in LA.
My time.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to get to your parents are immigrants, right?
Yes. They're American
I saw that
citizens
reel,
now,
so.
But yeah,
they
immigrated.
They immigrated. Sorry, I don't know if that's a sensitive.
No, no.
Well, I don't want to be insensitive.
No, they did immigrate. But
they've been here longer. Is what I got from that reel.
Yeah, that's what's strange and of course they became American citizens pretty much around when I was born. But yeah, they've been in the U.S. longer than they were in India at this point. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just being first generation and then doing comedy, I'm sure you got a lot of pressure to you got to go into a respectable job thing. You got to get you do have that basically. You're like, I did that and I do comedy. So
right. But it wasn't that way.
But you could have been a doctor.
The start, I graduated with a bachelor's. I couldn't find a job. So I was working at Target when I did start
I love Target.
doing stand-up.
I love Target. That shirt could be, you could be a manager at
Yes,
Target
I
right
am
now.
Wearing a red shirt now. So I would be confused for an employee if I did walk into Target right now. And I probably could still pull it off. Target hasn't changed much in 16 years.
Underwear's over there, man.
Right. Yeah.
Got it.
So, yeah, I was just doing that. And it did not pay well. I don't know how much Target pays now. At the time, it did not pay well.
What was this, like 2000?
2006, 2007.
Okay, yeah.
So, all the people were nice.
It's probably, what, 10 an hour?
No, it was $7.25.
I was going to say, I don't remember. I remember when it went up to 12, that was a big deal. Minimum wage, I'm talking about.
This was a time when minimum wage was $5.15.
God damn.
And they were paying $7.25 an hour.
The dark ages.
Yeah, and I started, November, and so I'm going right into the Christmas rush.
Yep.
But it was enjoyable. All the people I worked with were great. It was just the pay and trying to figure out where my life was headed at the same time. I had started doing stand-up in September.
And you're going to college at this time?
No, I just graduated college.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out what is it that I'm doing. And so I was taking the LSAT, applying to law school, because I figured, well, that's the next step. And then I got a contractor job at the company I work at now still. And so I was working both there and Target because it was a contractor job. I'm like, I don't know when they're going to potentially drop me. So I kept both jobs for a while, still doing comedy at night. But I was 22. I had all this energy to pull it off.
Sleeping deprived, probably.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. And obviously, just still enjoying being 22. I'm drinking, whatever. Still partying like it was a fifth year of college. Because I was living with two guys who were in their fifth year at Ohio State. And then my other buddy and I we graduated and we were like in the same kind of boat job-wise. So it was a lot of fun that year, and by the end of the year, I'd done well at stand-up, and I was accepted to law school, but I just knew what would entail going to law school, and I thought, no, stand-up feels really good, and I'm excited by it that I don't want to just leave this.
Were parents supportive, or were you racked with guilt with that decision? I mean, you got in, you could do it, but then you're choosing to not to?
Yeah.
Did you tell them that? I would have said I didn't get in.
Oh, no, they knew I got in. And so my father thought I would just defer for a year.
Mm.
And
he's like, he's going to go be Sumukh out there. He's going to be Sumukhing in people's faces.
Right. And
that's what you call it when you choose.
And
just no comment.
I don't know how to respond. I don't know what Sumukh.
You've been Sumukhed. That's going to be your YouTube channel with your.
That would probably.
That's an OnlyFans channel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Sorry. I mean, you could do it if you want.
Are you involved at all with OnlyFans?
No, but the guest that we had on Help Me I'm Scared yesterday kept talking about how he's on OnlyFans doing comedy.
Yeah, I don't. It's okay. So that's just a whole realm I never went into at all. And it seemed right. It seemed very popular for adult stars, and I was happy for them that they were succeeding with that. But now I see they have their own channel and they're doing comedy stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like
roasts.
I don't understand what's happening, and I haven't looked into it. And I just, even as a comedian, I'm finding this all overwhelming of the amount of different people venturing into.
They're just trying to find their thing like anybody else. I mean, just trying to get more money. Yeah.
Right.
They're just, they're like, can we be the next YouTube? Can we be the...
Because they screwed over adult stars, and then that blew up in their face, and now they're still trying to figure out.
Well, they tried to screw over adult stars, yeah.
Right.
They're like, no one wants to come here. Everyone's going to go to YouTube if they want to watch comedy.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
Yeah, get back to the disappointing your parents.
The OnlyFans thing threw me off, but disappointing my parents. They're in a better place now. But yes, at the time... I really think my father thought I was going to law school at some point, and I kept pushing it off. I ended up getting hired on at the company I'm still at and where I was contracting at the time. And I think that helped calm them down, that at least I was getting regular income while I was doing comedy that was good enough to, support my life.
You could live.
Yeah.
Which ultimately I think most parents want.
Yes. It was not certainly their vision, or it does not match up with the normal Indian.
Interesting.
Like my generation, what we were supposed to be doing, and a lot of my friends, of course.
What is a Gen X?
I'm old millennial.
First generation old millennial Indian American supposed to be doing. Well, what's the traditional?
Of course, doctor.
Okay.
So
lawyer. It's the same as any other generation.
Yeah, my path, of course, just having more of an English and literature background was, of course, you'll become a
literature.
Lawyer. Yeah.
Oh, I've listened
Which
to some
already,
books.
that was weird to do that as a major, also
literature?
as an Indian. Yeah.
They're like, you like reading?
Well, it's it's that, as well as what are you going to do with that? Because everything was very engineering or pre-med.
They're constantly trying to knock a book out of your hand and put a scalpel in there, or like a ruler.
Something along those lines. I mean, I remember.
What a rebel! Huh?
You're just
like, I'm going to do this.
What can I say? I had a pen in my hand, and I was a poet, I suppose. I don't know. So, yeah, even as a kid, I thought doctor or. My mother really loved politics, me getting into politics, which I can't even imagine now because that's when I graduated, my aunt and uncle called me and they were talking about it too, just jokingly.
Politics.
Well, just jokingly, because as a kid, like wanting to be president or those kinds of things. And I thought, and we laughed about it, but they were like, you still have a possibility. Like, what? It's not.
They're
especially
like, you still
now
want to
with
be
the
president?
nature.
You're like, maybe. And then they laughed.
Yeah.
Then they laughed about it.
Especially with the nature of politics now. It's not.
I don't think it's going to happen for you.
It's just of no interest to me. Oh, yeah. It's not that I don't have an interest in the issues or talking about it.
Could do
Unfortunately,
I politics videos.
Yeah, though I don't know that I have the right how to.
Well.
Yeah, I don't know that I can provide the right guidance to the how to. And unfortunately, I just have too much sensibility and logic, I think, for what politics is, that I can't.
You seem like too well-rounded of a person.
I suppose. So working in compliance is
Yeah, what does
my
that mean?
job. So basically the enforcement of regulations. So if we're looking at
Kind of like a cop? You're like a cop?
in an office,
We'd like to say all lives matter here. I mean, Black Lives Matter. God damn it.
Well, yes, I support that also. But so like the banking industry and the healthcare industry are the only two industries where it is regulated by the government, and so they must have compliance officers or compliance in order to ensure they're following appropriately. Banking is because of all the fraud that's occurred, first with Enron, WorldCom back in the early 2000s, and then obviously the subprime mortgage crisis too added more to that.
So if you were around, that would never have happened on your watch, kind of a thing?
Yes, it basically was, hey, we didn't have regulations in place that would be checked on and enforced, and it allowed this to happen.
I could say, like, you know how like Mark Wahlberg was like, if I was on those planes in 9/11, that never would have happened. That's like, you're like, if I wasn't regulating back during that crash, that never would have happened.
Yes, and similar to that, even with such a strong statement, it could have still easily happened. So that's the problem. You
think the crash, you mean?
Yeah,
the market crash, not the 9/11 crash.
Okay.
Sorry.
Where's Mark Wahlberg in the market crash?
Yeah, where the fuck was he then?
So yeah, it's like Enron, for example.
Can you give us a quick summary of Enron just for the listeners
sorry.
that don't know?
So Enron was an energy company
in
an
oil
Houston.
spill recently, right?
No, so they don't exist anymore because this
all
totally
the oil's in the ocean.
Yeah, that's possibly why. But yeah, they were all energy related, and basically ton of financial fraud related to them that they covered up. Ultimately, once it was revealed, it totally collapsed the company and certain markets of the energy. And they were doing some screwed up stuff in California as well, which that summer they had issues with electricity. And that's because Enron was messing with it purposefully to drive up their profits. And it was all pretty messed up. Anyway, point being, Enron really pushed that they had like an amazing compliance program and were following all rules and regulations, and people should basically notify leadership if they're noticing anything fraudulent or concerning. But reality was they weren't backing it up, and that's what it gets back to is the program is only as good as leadership, actually standing by it and living by it. So that's really what I work in.
So they call you in and you just like observe? You're like...
No, so at the company I'm at, or any company that may have someone in compliance, it's basically I work within our legal department. So I didn't go to law school, but I ended up around attorneys. So I did go to law school just to get that master's recently, but I'm not a lawyer. So what happens is we have license agreements, policies in place. So I'm ensuring that we're enforcing our policies appropriately. If there are issues related to it, it comes to me to answer and to guide and assist people.
So like, is this legal? Can we flick an off and on the switches to
it's
rise up our profit? And you're like,
based off.
No.
Yeah, right. There's that issue too, right? And that's where it's also ethics and compliance, because is this an ethical business decision we're doing here? There's other aspects to compliance as well where they get involved with HR. And so obviously if you have a complaint, complaints or whistleblowing you might hear about, this all connects as well to compliance.
Yeah, ethics is interesting. Did you have to take a class in that, or how does that?
Yeah, so that was part of my degree.
Aren't there's a lot of contradictory things in ethics? Like, you do something for one person, but it's bad for a bunch of people. So, like, is that ethically, like, I'm thinking Star Trek, the good of the many over the good of the one.
Right.
Is that something that comes into play a lot for you?
Sure. And I think Star Trek, The Next Generation in particular, has had some amazing episodes that have...
I haven't seen it. But...
Oh. But
I mean, I brought it up because I know that part, but that was about it.
You don't watch Star Trek?
No, more of a
Star
sword and
Wars.
horse kind of guy. I like fantasy. sci-fi.
But you like Star Wars.
Yeah, I got some Star Wars stuff. You know,
Okay.
that's yeah. I was more of a Star Wars guy than a Star Trek.
Okay. And then
Love
so
J.J.
you like,
Abrams stuff.
oh, okay. The movies then
Yeah,
that have come
that
out.
made
Sure.
it
That's
Star
not
Wars.
not the Star Trek movies. Didn't
Well,
J.J. Abrams do the Star
Yeah, he did
Trek
Star
too?
Trek, but everyone was saying like he just made it into Star Wars,
Ah, okay.
and that's when he got into Star Wars.
Okay.
He's like, I did it with Star Trek. Let me do it with Star Wars.
Interesting. And have you been happy with him in Star Wars? Because that
I'm
seems a
fine
hot
with it.
debate.
I enjoyed
I'm
the
just
movies.
not huge into Star Wars, so I don't.
Yeah. Ethically,
Mm.
back to ethics. I
Sure.
mean, what did you enjoy? And do you bring that into your comedy at all?
Yes, in
Ethical
how
jokes.
not humor wise, really.
It's not very
about
funny.
how, but so I'll be putting this on my website, but my final paper presentation was about putting a compliance program together. And so I did it on a fictional chain of comedy clubs. So I created a compliance program for that because obviously we've seen a lot of things play out that touch on
Interesting.
compliance and ethics, which don't exist, frankly, in stand-up comedy. And I don't, just knowing the environment, unfortunately, whether any comedy club, comedy show will actually utilize it or not, I don't know. But I think it's worthwhile
Did you
to
send
just...
it out to them? Did you send it in an
No,
email to
I'm
Wendy
just...
Curtis to be like, hey, maybe you should do this?
No, I just will put it on my website, and I think I'm becoming more comfortable putting myself out there and kind of having both components of my jobs out there because I see that crossover being important, right? And so as it shouldn't be a situation, I mean, it's going to happen anyway because it's built up this way at this point, but it shouldn't be a situation where staff of a comedy club or a comedy show or a comedian has to vent their issues on social media to get an acknowledgement of it.
Right.
There needs to be more accountability from comedy clubs, from the actual venues, from fellow comedians who are running their own shows to actually addressing these issues up front or privately and working to improve it, than for it to all have to play out the way it has, and the way it has been because people have felt there's nowhere else to go to.
Yeah, I guess I've heard people on podcasts being like, oh, if we sell out, then I get a bonus. But I'm looking out in the crowd, there's no seats available, but they still said that, there were some seats that weren't sold. So they're like, I had to go like count how many tickets were sold or whatever myself to like enforce getting this bonus. Is that the issue? Like issues like that is what you're talking about?
That's an interesting one that you brought up that could still be in that realm. I was talking the harassment, sexual assault, discrimination, booking
which is
practices.
arguably more important than
yeah.
But yeah.
But that's also too, like, what is the trust level that truly exists between a comedy club, its comedians, and its staff? And it's not. I mean, it's been the Wild West for a very long time, and it does not need to be that way and shouldn't be that way in 2023. And in an effort to try to address these things over the past decade, it's all played out on the internet as opposed to something that's actually professional and formalized into a document that these are companies, the comedy club, so that you actually stand by. But that's a difficult thing to try to push through from comedy club owners who are used to something. And
how would you hold them more accountable? Just give us a little summary of that. Or do we have to wait for it to come out on your website?
No. So this is the problem. The comedy club, in my fictional comedy club that I made a compliance program for, that comedy club's leadership made the effort to go, yes, we're going to do this and stand by it. And here are all our policies. And part of that was including like a policy on booking, right? So there's a lot of complaints about booking. There always will be from comedians,
like
right?
diversity?
Yes, but they're taking on other components to it as well, too. Yes, diversity, or just, hey, this guy is a sexual assaulter and he keeps getting booked. Like, let's just say Chris D'Elia keeps coming up because he keeps getting theater bookings and random stuff. And honestly, this dude is awful. Like, I've nothing else to say. I'll say it on this podcast. Like, he's awful. And we need to hold him accountable and not be doing this and allowing this.
Like giving him work.
Yes.
Still.
So that's an example where, okay, I own a comedy club. I may not own these theaters or whatever's going on, but I, as a comedy club owner, can take a stand to not book individuals who violate our compliance program, our ethics, our standards that we've put into place on our website. Here's the other thing too. Like, as a comedian, no one has ever provided me like a code of conduct anywhere.
Oh yeah.
That does not occur in our business at all. And we should probably ask ourselves, yeah, we should do that. And I know a lot of comedians will probably be like, when they hear that.
It just sounds
But
too
the fact is,
corporate.
this is a job.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to treat it like the problem is that most don't treat it like a job. And that's where it's gotten all screwed up.
Right.
And the fact is that a comedy club, a well-run one, stands by whatever their values might be. And the other thing where people can counter it in whatever way, but I go, you can see on the internet, there's plenty of unbelievably talented comedians, many of whom are not getting booked enough as they should be. It's like, even if you cut Chris D'Elia out of your life, no worries. You could fill another sold out show with someone just as good.
I guess
who is more upstanding.
It would take more work to find that person, I guess, than just booking Chris D'Elia again.
Perhaps. Yeah.
And I feel bad because I did
excuses.
go see Chris D'Elia in the Paramount before the allegations.
Okay.
But that's why
So
I was like
you
looking at the
enjoyed
camera.
his comedy?
I
too?
liked it. Yeah.
Okay. That's all right.
I was a mark, for that stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
I love 10-minute podcasts when it came out, so that got me into Brian Callen and Chris D'Elia.
So was this before you were doing comedy?
Nope.
Oh, okay. No, that's
You think
fine.
my
It's
taste has
not-
gotten better.
No,
Like
it's
your
not
taste should have evolved. No.
that.
I mean, I loved Man on Fire. I saw him do that at Comedy Works.
Oh, okay.
That really spoke to me. That idea
Okay.
that you're not like the main character in the movie. You're like, oh, you're not the man on fire. Anyway, I liked it. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I guess I shouldn't apologize for what I like. I want to just say I like what I liked and not feel ashamed about it.
And I won't shame you for it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Although I don't think
But so
it's great. He's a great guy. I don't think he's a great guy.
right. So where are you at now with him?
With him, I stopped listening to his stuff because, when the first allegations came out, I was like, all right, like I'm a fan of his, so I like listened to the pod and was like hearing his take on it.
I see.
So I was like, okay, it seems like he's getting help, like he's doing stuff. He went to rehab or whatever. So I still listened to his podcast and was just like,
okay.
But then more stuff came out or whatever, and I
Right.
watched that YouTube video, and then I was just like, I can't. It left me with too bad of a taste in my mouth to like
The
to
Kyle
be able to-
Anderson YouTube.
I think so.
one?
Yeah, whatever.
That whole hour long.
Yeah, I watched that.
was wild that Kyle did that. But
And it had like all the conversations on the phone calls and stuff
Right.
like that. And I was like, oh, I can't support this guy.
yeah.
And so I stopped. That's when I unsubscribed. But I mean, I still have some of that in me. His
Sure.
like mannerisms, the way he talked. I thought. I mean,
Hmm.
I thought I liked it.
Okay, that's cool.
I mean,
I didn't see. I never was into him, and I didn't know him either. I mean, again,
yeah, I
it's
don't know. I mean,
whatever.
that would never have happened on my watch.
But I see. That's interesting. You reacted that way because, again, not being a fan of his, not really knowing him. When I saw his apology video, I thought it was absolutely bizarre.
Well, at first I was like,
Personally.
the girls were of age. Sure, he might not be the greatest guy. And then there was that one text where it was like, I'm 18 now. So I was like, oh, whatever. He's maybe a dog, but like not like, not, he didn't do anything illegal. I don't know. That's how I was like justifying in my
Sure,
mind or
right.
whatever. Again, I'm sorry if this is triggering anybody, but
Yeah.
Uh,
It's interesting how see, I've gotten into a weird realm where I just don't get that into people, if that makes sense. Even
because they'll disappoint you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've
But
learned
I
that
mean,
lesson
you know what I
many
mean?
times.
Like whether it be comedians, whether it be athletes,
Musicians,
yes,
personal friends, people you meet in real life.
you.
Your
I don't think you can
parents.
connect with them on this like deeper level where all of a sudden you're doing what you're doing, right? Where you're trying to defend them, and justify for whatever their actions were. When it's like, I don't know this person.
Yeah.
I do enjoy their creative work, but do I really want to continue to support
Yeah.
that creative? So it's the same thing with I made a reel about this too.
Cosby,
Right, about
Woody
not to
Allen.
bring sports into it again, but I just
Just
didn't
don't
watch
then.
the Cleveland Browns last year because they traded for Deshaun Watson, who had 25 different sexual harassment lawsuits. Basically,
Okay.
really awful. Some of
His
them
numbers are high in
situations.
there too.
Yes.
He's got
So-
Hall of Fame numbers there as well.
Right. And let alone his
I
it was
don't know
all
about that.
extremely absurd, and how it all went down and disturbing given the circumstances that I just had enough. But I realize I'm a huge minority
Yeah,
in that.
that's exactly
and
what I was
most
thinking, yeah.
people in Cleveland still were watching, still trying to validate it because they love Browns football. But I just can't do that anymore. That might be the problem of me working in compliance and just ethics and things of that nature. But yeah, I do try to establish values for myself and then ask myself, would I actually interact with this for who I am? Do I feel right doing that? And I didn't feel right anymore. It
Sure.
wasn't worth it.
No,
and I
yeah.
must say I'm enjoying my Sundays not watching football and freed up time.
No, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's certain comedians, or I mean, it's rough because it seems like everybody's got shit if you dig deep enough, kind of a thing. So it's like you gotta separate at some point. But I'm not saying that.
No, but I think to what I was getting to
Yeah, sure.
was establishing a reasonable code of conduct. To me, is not a bad thing
No,
for comedy.
I don't think so either.
Because the club needs to show that there's a value to their stage that you're being paid as a professional to be a part of. And vice versa, a comedian needs to understand you're doing a job you're being paid for and there's a value to that.
Do you honestly think anybody would implement that? Because there's too many companies making too much money off of turning the other cheek or just not changing.
I think it could be implemented more so by like indie shows and stuff. I don't think comedy clubs will, because they're, especially what I was mirroring was kind of like the chain comedy clubs, right?
Sure.
So they've been in it for a long time. I don't know the inner workings behind the scenes sometimes of what's involved with certain comedians, agents. You know, you have connections, right? Like, oh, you've got to have this guy headline. He's my guy. I don't care what the allegations are against him. You have him headline so you can get this other person headlining there too. So there's business components that I don't think certain clubs will ever sacrifice because they want to fill their room and make money without putting in any effort, really.
Yeah. Why should we change? It's working.
So that's the thing. Doing anything like this involves effort and standing by certain values that I think most clubs don't want to make that effort and may not even have those values anyway.
Yeah, that's the hard part. It's like, I don't know if they do. Different generation, maybe it'll change over time.
Right. And that involves, again, I don't know that it would be a chain of clubs, but if somebody's starting a new club, or again, I think as these things were happening, comedy festivals run by comedians or independently run shows by comedians.
Yeah, I run the show. Should I let me read this code of conduct?
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah. And again, I'm not, but that's another thing too. It would just be something to help you to know going forward. You don't need to hand it to every single comedian you book because you're in the scene.
Read this.
Yeah, you're in the scene. You know everyone else, right? But you should, have an awareness of your own value to go, what does my show mean to me and who should be on it? You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
that's where it irritates other comedians when they see people not be held accountable for what they've done if they've hurt other individuals.
Yeah, if they're funny enough, all is
Right.
forgiven, bro.
Right. And then there's a lot of
Just-
just, you know, the more, oh my God, that person got famous, so now I'm their friend.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah,
they don't want to,
yeah.
they'll excuse it so they could maybe.
I'd be friends with Chris D'Elia still. I'm
If
just
he got
joking.
you, if he got you the
If he let
fame
me
and
open for
fortune,
me. No.
if he got you that car, that recently, the
Bronco.
Bronco, yeah.
Just for the cost of one Bronco, you'll have a friend. Just joking. I don't want to do that. Anyway, I have to use the restroom. We're gonna pause for a second. Is that right?
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
All right. Sumukh interview part 2. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Compliance stuff, very interesting. I think the ethics stuff in comedy clubs. I mean, it's sad to say, I don't think anybody's gonna start implementing it anytime soon.
No, but it'll be. My
Did your-
perspective was it'll just be out there, and
Yeah, and that's
Whatever.
great. It's you're very wise, I think, in that respect. You're like, it's out there, people do it. I did this, and hopefully someday people will find it.
yeah, and as well as if they want to talk about those issues.
No, I do think it's very
open to
interesting.
it,
Yeah,
and-
this is a whole dynamic I never really thought about. You know, it's like, I guess you just hope good people are doing good stuff, but money.
Sure.
When money's involved in shit like that, you know.
Sure. But if the same thing is happening in so many other industries that have a huge amount of money,
Corruption?
involved, there's nothing stopping our industry from having that, which is again connected to the entertainment industry, which Weinstein, whatever realms of that, it's not as if they're not trying in some capacity to address it.
Right. And do you think that's fake, or you think it's like a real thing? I mean,
I think it's not being
But-
done. Yeah, I think they're implementing things, but it's still not necessarily being done in a great way. You hope it's safer out there than the stories that came out of that situation, for
Yeah.
example. But I can't speak to that exactly.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time, but at the very least, trying to address it in a way that will hold it accountable. It's really about preventing these situations from happening. So putting things in place to do that, having leadership that buys into it, things of that nature. Each of us buying into it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. So heavy.
No need to be sorry. I mean, this is interesting stuff. Yeah.
But you were asking me about editing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how much time do you spend editing your videos or things like that?
It doesn't take too long because usually my videos are one take videos. Sometimes, there's a few cuts. It just depends. But yeah, it's not too time consuming because the nature of my videos are not that. It's just me, just making
Yeah.
sure the audio sounds good.
This doesn't cut into like your writing time or anything. Anytime you'd be doing something else.
No, it to me it's part of the comedy time in my life. Maybe one of the more focal ones because I'm, not doing the road anymore with stand up or things of that nature. So it is a part of what I'd consider sitting down to write jokes, but instead it's taking the time to do a video, putting it out there, and it having, a feedback reaction like doing a new joke would be in certain ways, if not better. So, yeah, and just the nature of my videos are not so extensive that it's not a lot of time to do editing with it. And that, again, speaks volumes to what we talked about before, where I don't think things need to be that elaborate anymore for them to have a huge effect
Sure.
when it comes to comedy or going viral or the interests of others, whatever.
It is funny that the idea of like putting out these videos now, doing video work, is like way less time consuming for you than putting out an album.
Yeah.
It's just the recording of it.
Yeah,
It seems like it's
no.
like way more of a process.
Yeah, and a process when I finished this one, which is great, I just didn't know what the future holds on that front. I still really love stand-up and will still do it, but you can see that shift already. Like, the album will be great and it'll play on Sirius, and so I can continue to earn money long term from it, which is excellent. But you see that shift now to video more and people just going automatically to special I'm going to release on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to releasing an album. And yes, if they're monetizing, they could still get money from that YouTube and hopefully people watching it more and more. But I don't know. That there's still a lot to that too. And at our hearts with stand up, we really value this material we created and we want to put it on something that has it etched in stone in a way. And the mediums for that now keep changing, and the value to it isn't what it once was. And the value discrepancy is so huge, where you can give Chappelle millions of dollars for one special, whereas someone else, still a really good stand up, is just throwing it out there for free on YouTube and really hoping to get money from the monetization components more than anything.
Yeah, big gap there
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, do you think anybody will ever have just like a special of reels that they just put together, or TikToks, like a compilation they'll just put together and they'll be selling DVDs of that? Because that medium seems more disposable. I don't know.
Yes.
Or maybe it's just me putting more value on an album or a special, quote unquote.
Yeah, I don't know that it's so accessible the way TikToks are that I think it's more about someone becoming TikTok famous. If they got famous off TikTok, then trying to build to something that is longer form that they can put out there in whatever capacity. Or we see now TikTok people going to clubs and doing whatever they're doing, but it's not exactly I would encourage them not to do a lot of stand up because they don't know how to do stand up. Some of them.
Yeah.
And then you're creating more of a feel of, oh, my fans are coming to a comedy club, but I'm giving them more of what they know me for on TikTok than to give them a stand-up show because I don't know how to do stand-up.
Well,
Most
arguably
of
the
them.
people who are coming to see a TikTok person don't care about what stand-up is.
They just want to see their favorite TikTok human being in person.
Yeah, doing their TikTok dance or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I've had a couple comedians on that have talked about being on the same show where a TikToker person was headlining, and then just they're like, I buried him, like he couldn't follow me, or it was like disheartening that they're so much better at stand up, but no one cared because they just wanted to see the YouTuber do their thing or the TikToker come on stage and do their thing, and that crushed way harder than all this material that they've honed over years.
Oh yeah. That's not your audience as a stand-up.
Yeah,
all the stand-ups I've known that have opened have talked about bombing in front of those crowds or whatever because they're also just there like, why is this person talking to me? I'm here for my favorite TikToker. Yeah, and it's a different interaction with how comedy works.
But there's I guess there's always been those stories. I mean, comics used to open for Elvis, comics used to open for Sinatra. Right. So it's like they're doing the same thing. They're like would go out and they'd be like, why they'd have to really win over the audience, and it wasn't usually good for them,
right?
Because they're like, no, I'm here to see Frank Sinatra, not you.
Yeah. But it's that's a whole other aspect to doing this and a skill to navigating through that.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic.
But I don't care to be angry about it or criticize it because every time things develop in different ways, and then you have to adjust as to what's appropriate for you, right?
Where did this chillness come from?
I think.
Why aren't you raging against the machine here?
I stopped drinking. I started focusing on myself and regularly asking the question of,
gross,
what is it that I do want out of comedy? And I think enough years you put into it and you see how the industry operates and you see this is going to get dark, but the wide gamut of I've had friends get TV shows. I've also had friends die. in a variety of sad ways. So you see how this it affects things when you're so consumed and into it that I just was like, yeah, I really love this, but at the same time, I have to look at what is it that I love about it and hone in on that. And that's why. Also, I mean, having another job and finding joy from that helps a lot too, because I don't have to worry about my income being entirely from comedy.
Right, right.
That then also puts a lot of pressure on each of us if we're full time into it, which I know plenty of my friends during the pandemic, of course, when you're relying on stand up for your income, they had a lot of pressure and it was tough.
Yeah, it's hard to let the art just be the art at that point.
Yeah.
What do you? Yeah, I've heard you talk about this multiple times on different podcasts about like you have to evaluate what you want out of it. So what do you want? Like, what have you found where
I
this
think for me,
pieces come from?
there's just I'm at a point of being really open minded to wherever it might head for me at this point. I'm 38. I lived in LA for 4 years, had that great experience of it. But I also I just want to keep loving it and doing it the way I want to do it. And if it can, I'm happy with and content with where I'm at now and just seeing how things progress with it through YouTube, through all these whatever mediums, and doing it at the rate that I want to be doing it. And we'll see from there. But I wasn't going to allow comedy to take me over and feel like I've got to do these things for comedy to achieve whatever it is that I want from comedy or to get that TV show or to blah, 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 blah. That's where things shifted because when you're in LA, that's the vibe of the town. And we're all trying to get something from being there that is a higher level than where we're at.
Fame and fortune.
Yes. And I think if that is what you really, really want, then yeah, go have the determination of a Kevin Hart or whatever. I just knew I don't really want to be Kevin Hart that level. So what is it that I want out of this? And yeah, it got back to that why I loved comedy to begin with, just getting that appreciation, feeling like you're helping others. And that does not have to be on some huge level to me to still be happy with it. At the same time, of course, I still have to do another job to be able to go on that path with comedy. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at and why I am.
So you're just open to whatever's happening. That's what you want out of comedy?
Yeah. I don't sit here and
So you have
I-
no
like,
expectations, actually.
I suppose I don't.
That's very Buddhist of you.
Thanks. I guess, I really always wanted a late night set just to have it, or, you always want your
Yeah,
own
these markers of success.
show. Yeah, things like that. But I don't know. I think, especially once I left LA, my fixation on that was it wasn't as huge of a deal because I've been through a lot of really amazing moments in comedy and you do learn like hey, you have a great moment for now and then it disappears pretty quickly and you have to be on to the next thing and the next thing and
Yeah, you did
it's
you went from the mecca of entertainment in
Mhm.
America, and now you're just like a hermit living in the woods. You just went,
It's an
you got a dog
yes,
now.
I
You're
mean,
almost John Wicking it.
yeah,
You live
and
in
I
a-
really enjoy that
You
and I
did
think
move to rural Colorado.
yes, this is less rural than the rural I was before, but it's still rural. I'm in the mountains now, which is at least pleasant.
Yeah. So you're waiting for this moment where someone comes and like, Sumukh, we need you for one last ride. And you're like,
I
I
guess,
guess so.
yeah, I'm perfectly
I
comfortable.
mean, this is the
like,
part of the movie you're in right now.
yeah, it would be something like that where I don't think it would come out of my deep drive and I'm bothering all these people, whatever, just to get an opportunity in whatever in Hollywood or it would just more be like, look, if I build something great from YouTube, wherever, and then something comes of that where an opportunity comes up, then great. At this point, I'm like, oh, if this how-to thing became huge somehow and I was funny and appreciated, yeah, I'll do something on whatever, the Magnolia Network. There's so many networks now that kind of go into the realm of home and garden HGTV type things. Whatever. I do that if somebody embraced like just being funny while learning, yeah, I do that kind of a show or whatever.
There's a lot of people in that whole like maker market.
Yeah.
Do you
But
have
I
a
watch-
YouTube channel you like?
So related to cars, he's very
Cars.
popular, but this dude Scotty Kilmer is fantastic. In fact, you should look up Scotty Kilmer's Ford Bronco videos because
Is that where he says it's not a good one?
yeah.
The engine? you
Yeah,
said is
there's
bad?
an engine failure. He bought one. Well, yeah, Ford new Broncos are having major engine problems. Do not buy.
Yeah, I've heard this from Jake
people?
Becker broadcasting, because I said this to him and he's a big car guy, and he
Okay.
said something about like wait till the next gen comes out because they're like
Yeah.
eco tech or something.
Okay. Whatever the case is, these current ones, which I think are the sport ones, right, are like just
The sport ones.
yeah, like
Those are the smaller ones, like the
Yeah.
Escape-esque ones.
So yeah, like visually, I get why people want them.
They look tough.
Yeah, but what's inside is what matters to me, and I'm like, this is not well.
You got
put
a whole
together.
theme going, buddy.
Of what's inside
Yeah,
matters.
what inside matters. I'm open to just whatever's happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, if something popped off with YouTube and like somebody was like, hey, well, let's get a funny how-to show or
Yes.
whatever, that's something you would be into.
Yeah, I'd be open to that.
And you didn't like get into that market thinking like there's an opening here.
No.
How dare you? How dare you
I
just
think that
follow what you like? And
Yeah,
just fucking-
everything just flipped at some point. I had all those. I think it's because, you're so reliant on other decision makers for all these things that you want. And if you get too consumed by that, it can really just have a whatever effect on you. And I just didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't want to feel that way, to be bound by this one booker on this late night show, or this. Why isn't this agent getting back to me, or whatever?
Yeah. You taking life in your own hands, kind of thing.
Yeah, especially now with the market where we have all these opportunities to be able to do that
Sure.
on your own and see where it goes from there, right?
So
And we saw
wise.
it through the pandemic. I had friends explode via TikTok and become like, they already had the stand-up chops. Now they're able to headline clubs and things like that, and they're accomplishing that goal, which is awesome. But yeah, so I think it's better than ever to be able to just do this, but do it the way you want to, and hopefully be capable of accomplishing and feeling good with it.
Yeah, you're like a glass half full kind of guy. I'm like, no, I'm drowning because there's too much. I
Yeah.
can't.
I think I spent too much of my life being glass half empty that
well,
I
no.
kind of was like, hey man, you're like very unhappy looking at things these ways. This
Therapy?
way?
You go to
Yes,
therapy, anything
I
like that?
do.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Therapy, antidepressant, stop
Oh,
drinking,
maybe
stop
antidepressants are
everything.
The next
so
level.
sober. Yeah. So finally I'm like feeling good because I'm actually addressing my mind as opposed to the first 30 years of my life where I was depressed, coping with the wrong things. And yeah, again, pursuing this creative thing where I want all this stuff from it, like we all do. And then it doesn't help when you're already depressed to begin with, dealing
Right.
with that stuff.
Sure.
So
Oh, yeah. Great advice. Hopefully somebody out there can hear it. If I could hear it someday, that'd be great. Go back and really take something from this conversation. Yeah.
yeah. Either way, we had a good conversation.
Yeah. Again, you're just like, I have no expectation.
Yeah.
Which is so darn. I'm envious of that.
Oh,
But
thanks.
we've been ending the podcast by doing either a pitch for a movie. Like we'd create a pitch for a movie together pretty
Okay.
quickly. Or I could do some lightning round questions. Do you have a preference on
Let's pitch a movie.
pitch a movie? All right. I
But
do
do
like.
you like action movies, right?
Sure, I do.
Or
But
like
I mean,
combat
that's not the
movies.
only one.
Let's
we did
do a
talk about-
combat movie.
Okay, a fighting movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I love, like, you watch Bloodsport?
yes,
So I love Bloodsport.
once a week.
You watch it once a week?
No,
That would be
you-
sweet.
The way you said it, though.
But
So,
I like,
I've seen Bloodsport. Yes.
I love those kinds of movies of like, hey, there is a tournament happening in some weird place in the world that just some weird billionaire is funding. That's the start of our movie.
Okay,
Are
yeah,
you
yeah.
cool with it?
Yes. Yes.
Then let's run with it from there.
Yeah, I'm thinking of some kind of Spaniard, kind of like Spain thing. Could
Are
it
we
be a
going to
period
s- are-
piece?
Which period?
I'm thinking more like horse, like everyone's riding horses to get there. No car yet. Maybe early 1900s.
But we're gonna fight.
Yes, they're gonna
Okay.
fight. They're
Okay,
gonna,
that's
but
cool.
I like the idea of like, oh, they're.
But
ready.
we're meeting in Spain, or the billionaires from? Well, he might
Both.
not be a billionaire.
He's a
at that
Spanish
time.
billionaire.
And we're meeting in Spain.
Yes.
So people, should it be only European, or are we
No,
getting some
no,
people on boats coming?
Yeah,
in?
everybody's coming from around the world. It's a
Wow.
bigger thing. It's not like he made a TikTok and everybody's coming now.
Okay.
Yo,
I like
anyone
it.
want to come to my death battle? I'm doing it right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're bringing in like the most skilled fighters
Mhm.
from around the world. If it's a
Period
period
piece is a lot
piece,
harder to get them there.
right? But you've got like swordsmen then. I mean, it's a period piece, so
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
just looking at.
Well, I was thinking hand-to-hand combat.
Okay, so it still will be only a hand.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking
I like
Bloodsport.
that. Yes, that's why.
Yeah.
But when
yeah.
you threw period piece,
You
that
thought swords.
it was possible.
Yeah,
I didn't
sure.
know where
I mean,
we were
it's still
going.
possible now.
Yeah,
Somebody can still be fighting
true.
with a sword. Okay, so like there's those video games like Tekken 2 or whatever.
Mhm.
Like it was just like a tournament.
right.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not Spain. Maybe Latin America. Maybe they're going to Brazil.
Okay, yeah,
Brazil's good.
that has a good history.
Yeah, I like the setting of like a waterfall, like a cliff waterfall. And then if they lose, do they die? They just get thrown off the waterfall? They just throw their dead body off there? Or is it like you can yield still?
Yeah,
How
they
brutal
either
is this?
die on the cliff, or much like Bloodsport, where if they fell out of the arena, they were out. Like it is surrounded by
It's like
the
a shallow
waterfall.
lagoon.
Like someone
but
will
like-
die off the waterfall.
Yeah,
and
someone's going to get
perhaps
kicked off.
That's where the final fight is. The
Yeah,
drama
yeah.
comes from. But
So we're still going period? Still going like early
I-
1900s?
yeah,
don't
that's
know.
where
Or
you
should we
went.
just go
I don't
early
know a lot
2000s?
about. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah,
There's a
early
lot
2000s.
of Limp Bizkit
Yeah, because they're still
playing.
not. Yeah,
in Brazil.
maybe we should do that because there's still like social media hasn't hit yet,
Mm-hmm.
so
But
he's
yeah.
not Facebooking it. People didn't find out about it on
No,
Facebook
it
because I
was
think
all
it has to have that mystique.
AOL Instant Messenger
Yeah,
messages.
yeah. Someone's like,
and
Oh, I was just on. Do you have the internet at your house, bro? This is like the conversation the main
Right.
character's having at his dojo with. Have you been on the internet, bro? AOL. I just heard about this kumite in fucking Brazil, dude. These
That
guys
would
are
be
talking about
fun.
it.
that would be
And
good.
his friend doesn't believe him. He's like, "No, dude, you're getting catfish, dude. I heard, there's all just dudes pretending to be ladies on there,
Yeah,
to get you to
sure.
do
I like
weird
that, but
stuff."
because I don't know anything about early 1900s Brazil, so
Sure. Yeah.
not that I
2000s
know
Brazil.
a ton.
That
yes,
is you. You're
sure.
2000
I
Brazil.
mean, I watched City of God. That seemed like
Yeah.
the vibe.
How does he find out? Or how does this person, the main character, could be a girl?
Or is our main character an American? I presume we have to sell it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Either Chinese or American. Either we got to go to the biggest markets right
I
now.
think. Okay, yeah. So
You're like, yes, I agree. I can't argue with that.
and who's our star now?
It could be. Well, we'll cast it towards the end,
Okay,
but
so
it's
an
just-
American.
could be
An
Asian American, could be Native American, could be
Again, we do a blood sporty type thing where an American and an Asian American, but they meet there in Brazil and befriend each other. So if they're
Okay.
from different parts of the country, maybe one's in LA, one's in New York, and then they meet in
Okay,
Brazil,
yeah, yeah.
and
So
that's
they're
how they
both
befriend each
Americans.
other
Yeah,
because they're the only two Americans
yeah, yeah.
who've arrived.
Well, I like the main character, LA guy. I'm
Mhm.
assuming
Yes.
LA's got better martial arts. Sorry, East Coast. I don't know if that's true, but
That seems right. I don't know.
So he's got his best friend there, though, the one who's like doubting him the whole time. He gets killed somehow, and that's
The
where he's
best
like,
friend.
yeah, and he's like, that's
yeah.
why I gotta win this for him, kind of a thing.
I like that.
Revenge.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe they just like run into the guy, ultimately the big bad guy. They meet him in like the Brazilian airport. Something happens, like a mugging goes wrong. His friend dies, and it is the big bad,
So
the big
bad
guy.
The best friend came with him to the tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think that I don't know. I like the best friend dynamic, and someone died again. It's basically we're reimagining Bloodsport.
Yeah, that can happen in the first 10 minutes for sure.
Yeah. And
but what is the big bad guy's role in it? Because in Bloodsport there was just an
he's gotta be
established big
German.
bad guy. Yeah, but the German guy didn't kill his best friend, did he? Or he could
he does
have
kill
because he knows the reputation of the American as his biggest challenge.
Yeah. He beats up the big wrestling guy from Revenge of the Nerds, remember?
Yes. Ray Jackson was the name of the character.
Yeah, he almost dies. He doesn't die in the end.
But he was an actual participant, like our New York or wherever this other guy's come from.
You don't want his best friend couldn't be a martial artist as well?
Oh, he could be, but he wasn't going to participate in the tournament.
You don't like that
he still came with him to Brazil.
Yeah,
but he was very like, don't do this tournament.
Yeah,
it's all bad tournament.
Yeah, maybe they're brothers or something, and he's like, "Mom's gonna kill me." Like, Mom sent me to like make sure you don't come back. You don't do this actually.
Right.
And his brother's death motivates him to do it more.
Right.
Because the bad guy. Who's the bad guy? Should we have a big Brazilian guy, or should he be Russian? I don't know. I'm trying to think like who's the world's enemy at this moment, and that's usually who the enemy is at the time.
A big Russian is always
big Chinese guy. Good. You know, Bolo Young. We just basically get Bolo Young again.
That would be awesome.
So is he Chinese? Sorry.
Look it up. I can't remember.
Sorry, Bolo.
Hong Kong.
Yep, I was right. Chinese. Hong Kong is in China.
Born in China. Yeah, Guangzhou. So, let's just pick Russian.
It's Kid Rock.
Kid Rock is the big bad guy. I mean, Kid Rock could be the guy who's financed this nonsense.
It's a Kid Rock-esque billionaire.
Okay, yeah.
He's a Brazilian guy who idolizes Kid Rock in the early 2000s.
Sure. Yeah, early 2000s.
And it's like before Kid Rock was doing the country stuff, so he's rapping.
Yes.
My name is Kid.
Yeah.
Rock.
Yeah,
ba with the ba. Yeah, that's how he starts off every fight. Ba with the ba.
That song will play a role in
Yeah, when they like go to have dinner with him, like before the big match, they like go to have dinner with the thing, and he's like, "Do you know Kid Rock?" And he keeps putting it on.
So is it so period piece that we will throw all that music in as our soundtrack? You know, are we gonna have like Third Eye Blind in a transitional?
I do. I mean, all that
moment.
Music did so well for like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff.
Yeah,
I think we should do.
Sure.
Music. I don't know about Third Eye Blind, but you know.
Third Eye Blind was like transition to another scene in like every early 2000s.
Definitely. We got to get some Hoobastank.
Sure.
Maybe that's a little later in the 2000s.
Yeah. Either way. So our villain is a big Russian dude. Let's just do that.
We're going Russian?
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, they're like, he fucking was picking up kettlebells since he was a child, you know, and he just grew up tough.
Right. And so in the same way of a Chong Li, he's just a big, intimidating dude that thinks he's going to run over everybody.
Yeah.
Does not
and
care
he's the main
for
guy's
America.
big pick. He was like, this is my guy.
Yes. Yeah, sure. And yeah, so again, it's a big money grab. Lots of rich people involved, and it is just human fighting for money.
Like to get the guest in as there. You need to be like this Sumukh character needs to be. You know how he in Bloodsport he meets that manager guy.
Yes,
that's where you come in.
Am I that?
Yeah,
I'm the guide. Like, let me teach you about
Yeah, the culture and
Brazil
stuff.
Kumite.
Yeah, yeah.
I would love to be that guy.
Yeah.
What was it? USA A-OK? Or no,
Yeah.
that was the other guy. That was that old man. Anyway,
Yeah, that's the Sumukh
Sure.
character. That'll
Okay.
be you.
okay, great.
Yeah. And you befriend him, after his brother's death, you were there for him or something,
Sure.
You're like a lawyer for the big guy, but you end up having a heart of gold, because they think, oh, you're just on his side. You're trying to cover up my brother's death, but you're
Yeah.
like, no, we're gonna bring it out to the papers.
Excellent.
Have you heard of Facebook?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah. Well, it's only who knows what year we're in.
2000, vague 2000s,
Vague 2000s.
early
So
2000s.
should we just
yeah,
pop around?
yeah, because we could have Facebook in there.
Right. It was just
Maybe Mark
starting on
Zuckerberg is there.
colleges. Like one guy is a college student and he's like on
Yeah, on his
Facebook Live.
computer, and then like there's a shot with him. He's in the front row, and he gets like blood splattered all over his face.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, man, you should cover your face with a book," and he's like, "What?"
So does our protagonist have should he fall in love with a female fighter that's there for the
There could
competition?
be a gay romance. What do you think?
Okay, between me and him as
No,
his guide?
I was just saying he falls in love with another fighter guy.
Okay,
Maybe the guy from New
interesting.
York.
Oh,
They end up
sure.
becoming lovers.
By the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we pushing it too much?
I think I don't know if Hollywood's gonna go for it.
Yeah, Bros didn't do well enough.
But I guess that was knowing the demographic who will watch this, I don't even know that it'll do that well, because this is what disappoints me is I still love combat movies, but they don't really.
This movie's going to have to find its
These-
audience on Hulu. Like this is
Yes.
not going to be.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, it's not going to make Marvel numbers probably. So
no.
it needs to find a niche audience, but we can continue to make sequels after sequel on Hulu.
I think, unfortunately, if there's a gay romance, this becomes a drama.
No, that's the thing. That's why it's so cool. It's like we're not dwelling on it. Yeah,
We're not dwelling on
yeah.
it.
I mean,
I don't
it's
know.
just as much as
I'm trying. I'll do
Van
my
Damme
best in
dwelled
the pitch
on
meeting,
the-
but I have the producers.
just as much as the Van Damme lady story. You don't remember who she is in that movie, so
No,
it's
not
the
really.
same thing in this one.
I don't even understand what
She
her
was a
journalist-
reporter.
Yeah, but her reporting,
Okay,
I
we
didn't
make
even
him a
under-
reporter.
and it didn't even make any sense why she was so into reporting this thing. But whatever.
Yeah, we don't need to get into it. That's how nonchalant
So
this
how-
romance is.
But how important of a fighter is this other guy? Not really.
Yeah,
They're just
not
gonna
really.
have romance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, his thing just becomes supporting the main character after he loses.
Okay. So he'll lose pretty quick.
Yeah, maybe he'll
To the
maybe
Russian
2
guy?
rounds
Or just some other non.
some
yeah,
other
let's not
non-guy.
make it too.
Yeah, because the
too
Russian guy's
much.
the big guy. So if we're
Right.
we do too many with the Russian guy.
Right. Okay. I think we've got it.
Yeah. I think it's good. Okay, who do we cast as the main character? Timothy Chalamet.
Okay.
No, you're not into it.
No, that
He could
sounds
pull it
good.
off?
I don't.
He's not big.
No,
He'd have to
right,
get
I
on some.
don't
He'd have to get
know.
on some roids.
Yeah, like
He'd have
he.
to get on some Chris Hemsworth.
So we'd have to pay him also for his training to get to that level.
Sure. You don't think the studio would pay for that?
Yeah, but again,
We are the
they've
studio.
really got to back up this movie and push it out there.
Okay. Maybe we get Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that was where I kind of.
mean, he's
but
kinda-
it's just
he's
he's
old.
done it,
He's older now.
and he's also just. Is that his thing now?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
What about Tom Holland? He's already got the juice for Marvel. And he's doing this as like a little indie project.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You don't like
That's-
he's Spider-Man. The current Spider-Man.
Yeah. Can you show me his face again? Because I'm confusing him with that other guy.
Yeah, I don't like that he's English. I want an American actor.
Okay, he is with
USA.
Zendaya. But see, I
USA.
confused him with some other Tom too. Okay.
Ooh, we get the dude who
he's-
played Elvis.
Yeah, Austin.
Austin Butler.
Butler. Yeah.
Yes, we're doing
Oh,
Austin Butler,
This will
dude.
get. Oh yeah. Yes.
Another
it's
great
definite.
transformation for Austin Butler. He went from Elvis to being
And like he gets a huge demographic our movie wouldn't have been getting
Yes.
before.
Boom.
You know,
Austin Butler,
they'll just
main
be there to
character.
see
Right.
Austin Butler make out with another man at the end of the
Yeah.
movie.
Who's the
too.
other guy? Other karate guy.
So we're looking at an Asian American.
This one, I think we can be a little less. We can go with like somebody a little more character-y because we only have to show him like fighting once, really,
Mhm.
and he'll lose. So it's like not a. We can make it. Ooh, the guy who played Shang-Chi.
Oh, yes. He's a comedian. Simu Liu.
He's a comedian?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he'll do it?
Yeah, he'll do it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, why
Simu
not?
Lee. He's the other guy. Okay.
Yeah,
Brother.
Look at him. Look at he's fucking.
Look at
he's ready. He's literally shirtless for this role.
Brother, we make it into a sister, and it's Aquafina. She just gets fridged, though. I don't know if we want to fridge a woman.
Wait, so this is Tom Holland's brother or sister?
Tom Holland. We're not. Tom Holland's out. We're going with Austin Butler.
Oh, Austin Butler. I'm sorry. We probably, but the sister's gonna get killed.
Aquafina could be the love interest. Oh,
we
no.
need a woman in this movie.
I think Aquafina should be like the quirky announcer lady.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, she's like the host announcer lady.
Sure.
Who's like oddly bloodthirsty but funny.
Yeah. Or Leslie Jones.
I do like Leslie Jones.
Let's do Leslie Jones.
Okay.
She just say crazy stuff.
All right, crazy billionaire.
Was Kid Rock, right?
Okay.
Or a Kid Rock type. We need a Brazilian, right?
Sure, we can make him Brazilian.
But not Kid Rock. We're not.
Yeah, I guess we can't go Kid Rock.
Kid Rock.
All right, we're gonna have to do. There was a UFC fighter that I trained with when I was younger. Fabricio Verdum.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just get him. He'll be a wacky guy. He's a Brazilian, so
he's just local.
Yeah, I mean he's a Brazilian guy. He lives there.
That's
I
great.
think he's doing a podcast now.
I like that.
I trained with him way back in the day before he won the heavyweight championship.
And the movie needs credibility of having actual.
Yeah, I think that'll be
people.
good. I think he'll be enough to get the fighting crowd in.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, and then we'll have little cameos of like UFC fighters. I think it'd be fun if like who's the Irish guy? Conor McGregor would like pop in somewhere.
Anderson Silva is Brazilian, and he just does stuff like this.
Yeah. We'll get they'll have fun little roles.
Yes.
Okay, so we got the brother. Oh well, we haven't done the brother yet.
No, Austin Butler's brother. Who's
Ronnie Chang? No, I'm looking at the cast
like
of
young now, but kind of. You know how Steve Zahn is? But Steve Zahn can't be his brother because Steve Zahn's like 50 now.
Right.
So who's like the 25-year-old
like Buddy?
Goofy, guy of this generation. I'm so old now that I don't know who's
it's like the Buddy in every movie. Yeah.
Who's the McLovin of now?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That is hard. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to be the friend from Spider-Man. But I mean, I watch a lot of Marvel movies, so that's my go-to for casting.
But Butler's not Spider-Man, right?
No,
so
Tom Holland.
It wouldn't be the exact same two people.
But Spider-Man has a buddy, a guy who plays his buddy in all the movies.
Okay,
this guy, Jacob. Batalon.
Huh.
But he plays his friend in all the movies.
He can work. Clearly that's his role, to be a friend.
Okay. It's him. He's the friend. Okay. What do we call it? Can't be Bloodsport.
No.
It's got to be Ba with the Ba.
Oh yeah, there is an early
2000s there's like an early 2000s tie-in,
Brazil what the ba?
New Millennium Fight or something, yeah. And it has to do with like Y2. Oh well, it can't be vague if it has to do with Y2K.
Mm-hmm.
But K could stand for knockout.
Sure, something with the millennium. Well,
Bloodsport 2000.
That could work.
That could work. Not the strongest.
No,
I think there has to be like a catchphrase or.
Okay, so the gay romance is just so subtle
Yeah.
too. Like, we don't need to have that feel like it's part of the title.
No.
It's just Bloodsport 2000. I kind of like Bloodsport 2000. It's so
New
silly.
millennium,
We
new
might have
fight.
to license Bloodsport. Or, there's a movie called Lady Blood Fight, which is
Yes.
basically women blood sport.
Yeah, doesn't that have like
So
Ronda
we could-
Rousey in it?
I
thought so.
Maybe, yes. I can't remember. But
It's also, I tried to make a joke with my wife that's what I was going to call it when she was on her period.
Lady Blood Fight.
Yeah. She didn't like it.
Well, like, so Blood Rumble or Blood.
Yeah, blood. Combat. Something with Mortal Kombat maybe, or it's like
Yeah.
a death battle.
Yeah, like a fight
Blood
to
battle. Fight to the death isn't bad.
the death.
It's a good start.
Right.
Although they're not fighting to the death all the time. Fighting to the death, or you could give up.
Yes.
Or you could just give up. Brazil fight. What's a muerto? Yeah, well, that's death.
Well,
We could do it in Portuguese. It could be like a Portuguese title.
yeah, my Portuguese is non-existent, but I built this up so much that I didn't even really think this needed a title.
Bloodsport 2000, I think, is a good
Let's just do that
placeholder.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
we'll work on it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, thanks so much for doing the podcast. I appreciate it. I think
Thanks, JD.
Bloodsport 2000 is going to be a hit.
I don't know, maybe in 2000. I don't know about now, but I hope.
dude, we got nostalgia for it now.
Okay,
It's coming
cool.
around. It's like 30-year cycles.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on, by the time we get this made and put together and everything, it'll be closer to 2030 than it will 2020. So,
Okay, cool.
it takes its time. Don't have any expectations on it. Okay.
All right.
Just let
I
it be
will.
what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I let the guests sign us off however they see fit. Tell us where they can find your album, where they can find your stuff.
So yeah, if you just go to my website, Sumukh, SUMUKH comedy.com, or just Google Sumukh Comedy, that's the best way to find everything at this point. And, my album will be available on whatever music streaming service you prefer. And if you have SiriusXM, just listen. The tracks will pop up on Laugh USA or Raw Dog Comedy. So it's cool. And just really the biggest thing, check out the YouTube channel, subscribe if you enjoy it. And that's the best way to go.
Right on. Well, like I said, I'll let you sign off, but I will say Wakanda forever. Be excellent to each other. It's kind of my sign off thing,
Oh, cool.
I feel like it's a big juxtaposition for people sometimes. Like, wait, what? I've had that a couple times. People are like, what are you saying? But anyway, how would you like to sign it?
You say be excellent to each other?
Yeah, it's from
Yeah,
Bill
I
and
know.
Ted.
And
Okay.
then why wouldn't I say and party on, dudes?
Wow, we're soulmates, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, thank you so much for being on, and peace.